Hello! Today we are going to have a look at the shaded castle from a level design and world design perspective. Starting off with the look of the castle from the map. Because it's quite the... It's not the largest castle, but it's definitely up there. It's not as big as Stormware Castle, obviously, but for a not Shardbearer castle, it's quite large, or Legacy Dungeon, whatever. And it looks great from the map. It looks great here. We have a long wall, then a fairly square-shaped castle with all the important buildings in the back, like the keep, and some buildings inside. This is actually pretty nice because it tells the player, or it actually shows the player, that there might be someone living there. I mean, it's not only just castle and nothing else. We have castle and buildings, which is great, right? Buildings indicate that someone is living there. And we can see a fairly complicated layout right here. We have two walls, an outer wall and a inner wall, and then the keep itself over here, which is quite nice. And we can approach this castle from two different perspectives, or two different, not perspectives, but what do I want to say, from two different angles. I think we can get over here inside the castle, and we can get somewhere over here inside the castle itself. Maybe there's a third entrance, but not that. But first of all, let's have a look at it, because the wall is quite low, right? It's quite the low wall, and there is no official entrance, so what I'm imagining is that this part right here, at this spot with these two square tower thingies, that in between there is the official entrance. And I think the layout design from the map perspective, it would make sense, because then you can go through here. You have all this natural wall. This is all the these stone structures here. Then you have to go through this little corridor to get into the outer wall layer, or into the outer layer. And then I think it's a bit hard to see due to this icon. I think that there might be somewhere over here the entrance into this part, into the court, so to speak. But let's get into the castle itself first. And here is one entrance, and let's take this entrance because, at least for me, this is the entrance that I'm always taking. So let's get into here. Oh boy. Now that I haven't played this game for a while, like 1 week, I was busy with playing Pokemon. The whole control scheme is a bit different. Let's say different. So again, this is the problem we have with every single castle so far and wall pieces so far, is that they have crenellations and arrow slits. On top of that, the crenellations itself are not low enough. What do I mean by this? Crenellations are built the following. You have a high wall part where you can take cover behind, and then you have a lower part which you can use to shoot the enemy. Right? So it's lower, so you can shoot over that wall piece, but this is not short enough. It needs to be like a bit more similar to these arrow slits, and then you obviously have arrow slits to shoot through the arrow slits, right? Excuse me, I'm standing here. So you really only want to have arrow slits or crenellations, not both, because let's say you want to use the arrow slits, you take cover here, then you're quite vulnerable from the crenellations, from the lower part of the crenellations. In this case it doesn't really matter because these are too high up. Maybe they are just there for show because it looks better, but I don't know why they have both. Then on top of that, they have these little openings on the ground here, these little square openings, which I think are supposed to be murder holes, but usually murder holes go straight down, so you can actually shoot people that are standing down here. Usually you have the murder holes in between these cracks here. Your crenellation part is overhanging, so that you can have holes down here to shoot enemies that are standing directly underneath the wall part. Because usually if you have no murder holes whatsoever, you're fairly safe here as an attacker. Because how are you going to hit me with a bow? You're not. Maybe you can throw something hot down or alongside the walls and this will hit me, but not the arrows. Okay, but this problem was there in every single castle, so I just take it for granted now that they have this problem. Then they have no doors for their towers. We have a nice tower over here. There is no door, so there's no way getting into it. And for some reason you have these arrow slit thingies that show you that it's just a solid piece of rock inside. Like, I mean, if you don't want the player to go through here, you can easily put a door there that the player can't open. They have enough of these doors already, so that would be a bit easier to make. Then up here we have our grace. And for some reason a ladder. I don't know why they have no, what's it called, staircases. But let's keep walking alongside this wall. We are currently at this position. Here is the grace at this tower point. We can decide to go to this part, or we can keep going alongside this wall. And here we have a surprisingly dangerous enemy type. Surprisingly, because usually enemies in these games aren't that difficult. But the first time playing here I was, I guess, quite underleveled, and I couldn't kill them in a straight combo. So be careful, they can deal a lot of damage. Then we have something we can drop down here, and we have to think, right? This is a nice little area. This is right between two pieces of wall, right? We have this wall part, the outer wall, and then it's joining the inner wall part, and we are currently in between these, the outer wall over there, and then the outer wall over there, inner wall over here. And for some reason there are these rock structures here, and the ground looks like there was like lava, magma, whatever, one of these two types. Like a volcano eruption or something like this, I don't know. It looks like molten stone, basically. But then you have to think of, what is this supposed to be? Why does this piece here exist? And I'm not really sure. Of course they have a painting hidden in here. Why would there be a painting in here? I have no idea. Why do we have this part facing the wall? Like, why does this even exist? Why is it? I know why. Because this is just an asset, and they use this asset, and it looks like this, right? This is the easy answer. And I'm green now, great. But it makes up for nice level design, even with a roof here. It's okay, I guess. It's not very faulty, but how do you get down there? Maybe there was a let's just imagine the whole castle sunk into the ground, into the swamp area or whatever this is. Sunk down. Let's just imagine that somewhere in this wall there is actually a door that we can't see because it's underground now. Sadly again, that there is no indication of a door right here. Why? Like, he was pushing in this direction, no? Right? He was pushing in this direction. When I come up, I think they've miscalculated the trigger for that attack. Because I think he's supposed to push the player character around. Then we have this nice little wall piece, which is just... It reminds me of a square tower, although I don't know why this thing exists. I mean, there are no arrow slits over here and no crenellations over there, so you can only shoot in this direction, which is not as good. I wish you could shoot in this direction so you can actually hit people that are in this corner right there. But these are just a few small details. But I really like the level design of this area. We entered the castle from the outside, and we could access the wall over here. And then we have one optional path that we just went. The next path we can go is down here, or potentially we can get up there, I guess, with... Yeah, we could go there. The quote-unquote official path, I think, is this way, so let's go this way. Here we have more castle structures, and I don't know why this ladder exists right here. Why are they not just building a staircase inside this building here and let us get out of there somehow? Maybe through a window, because it's sunken. Like, sunken in, whatever. Alright, there's a nice little item. And this is awesome. You have this item and you have to figure out how to get there. The solution would be to jump, or one solution would be to jump onto the crenellations facing inside the wall, and then from there you can jump up the stone structure and you would come out of this crack right here, in the middle here. But I think it's just a what's it called? Stone sword key. Then we also have this nice little ladder over here, which serves as a shortcut. Quite the useless shortcut, I might add, but we will see later. And this over here, I think, is the official entrance into the castle itself. But I wish they would have used a different structure. Maybe a closed gate would have been better here. Because right now this looks like it was just like bricked shut, like that there never was an entrance. But I think this should have been the official entrance right here. So I think a gate would be more fitting there. Nice little random structure over here. I guess you can put extra troops up here that would defend from a... Let's say you got in through this part, you can still defend from here. But I don't get why they are not just stationing people up there. Because up there, when you are on the wall right now, you can't shoot down here because of this very unsafe wooden structure. Let's just imagine you're stationed in here as an archer, or as a soldier, I guess. You are standing here, the enemy comes through that wall because they're coming from this side most likely, and then they're just doing a face-on attack, and they got through the main gate over here or through the wall, And now they're inside the inner wall, or in between these walls here, in between the outer and the inner wall. And now you have to shoot them, and they're getting close, and then you think like, oh fuck, I have to fight them now because they can just walk up this staircase over here. Of course, from a just aesthetic standpoint, this looks great. Just a like wall structure and then a bit of wooden structure in front of it. It always looks nice. Looks more busy and is overall more interesting. But would it make sense there? Probably not. Or at least not with a staircase leading the enemy directly to you. Then we are in the main part, and I wonder... No, that's weird, right? Ah. I guess this would have been then the official, but there's a stone here. I'm just trying to figure out... I just guess that right here, at this part right here on the wall, that this is the actual entrance to the area, to the castle itself, right? I'm currently in between these two big square tower pieces, and I'm in between them. I think this is the entrance. Then we have a building over here, this building. So you could possibly go around that building. Then you have a tree here, a lot of basilisks, even with an ambush trigger over there. Then you have this nice little building over here right at the entrance. You could go around it, but it wouldn't really help you. And then you have this extra structure here, and I just imagine this was something like an inner tower, right? Tower on the inside. If someone gets through that gate, they have to go through a different gate, and I think there is either a gate right here. There should have been a gate right here, because this is the little gap over here. It's actually shown on the map as a gap. This is interesting. So I just imagine that they have added this the stone structure over here later on. They've designed this map first, this part of the map first, and then they've later on in development cycle, they've created this part over here after this. Because usually these structures are shown as rock formations over here, but on the map itself there is no rock formation over here. But it doesn't really matter. You could make easily this part as also this part to be your entrance, basically, or your second entrance, your second gate part, basically, right? But then I don't get... These legs, why do they happen? I don't know. Then I don't get where this staircase is leading to. Maybe there's another piece of wall here, but where is it connected to? I don't really get why there is exactly this part of structure here. But let's just imagine there is actually a gate somewhere underneath here, leading into the main, or leading into the more open part over here. And then of course we have access to the walls from here. Again, why do they have a bridge leading from the roof of a building to the castle itself? I have two ideas. Maybe the castle sunk, but it was still occupied by a faction. And then they've decided to build these structures, like this tower over here with the ladder on it, and then this bridge over here, because there is actually no way anymore that you can access these structures, because it's all underground right now, because it's actually sunk. But again, missing door into the tower. And where are we now? This should be then the entrance part, right? Yeah. This. We're above the gate. That's quite nice that you have this big of a structure. It's kinda strange that I have this part facing the inside instead of the outside. But I mean, it's a more interesting design. Maybe they should have done it both on this side as well. This little useless thingy facing outside. Right, this part over here. But let's just keep moving. Because there's actually not that much to talk about anymore, down here at least. But let's visit the potential second entrance. Or second entrance for us. That is, because we can actually get onto this part of the wall. Nice little tower over there that we sadly can't get access. Can't access. Yeah, this is the second part we can get into the castle itself. Like, now we are on the outside. Right here with some flowers. And then we go... I think we can even do this without torrent, right? Yeah. We can simply just jump up here. Then this is our second entrance. Pretty nice right here, right? So a legacy dungeons with 2 entrances. Here again, this small area tells me that at least some of these stone structures shot out of the ground at some point, like they weren't here before. Because how else would you get into this house over here? Because I can't imagine that you go through the wall into the house itself, and then they probably have an entrance over here or an exit over here just for a small little part like this. Maybe there was a garden over here or something like this, but that would strike me as odd. That's very odd. Not gonna lie. But let's not think too hard about it, shall we? So... what the... okay. There was an enemy on the ground. So let's clamp up one of these... is this the only one? Let me have a quick look. Over here was just the... yeah, over there was just the ladder... the shortcut ladder that currently isn't down. So let's get up here and have a look how it looks up there. Again, I'm just imagining that this wooden part now was built after the castle sunk into the ground. Because otherwise this wouldn't make any sense. So again, we have now the entrance over here. Let's call this one the second part, or the inner castle itself, because here we have a few more houses, a second piece of second layer of wall. But let's go to this side first, because this is a optional part over here. And there's a big ass leg, clean rod knight over here. And this building is odd, because I think it looks much bigger on the outside than it actually is, right? Let's have a look at it from the side first. Yeah, it's much deeper. It should have at least 1, 2, 3, like 4 more floors. You can't access the roof because it's actually a roof and not a tower piece, so it's a shame that there's just this one small room and that there are not like 2 or 3 more layers to it. But in here is quite the quite the important item for a specific storyline. And then we have creepy statues. I don't know why they like to put statues everywhere, like, and with everywhere I mean everywhere in this area. They had the same thing with Castle Canehurst and Bloodborne, where they put a bunch of statues everywhere basically, and I don't get it. I mean, it's a creepy factor, but from a realism standpoint, why would you do this? Or are these supposed to be petrified people? But no, I don't think so, because they're too big for that. So these are probably man-made. Why all these legs, for fuck's sake? Doesn't matter. Egal. Yes. The German comes out of me again. Ah, yeah, right. The nice, silly little tower piece with chimneys and very tiny little crenellations. We've seen this before in previous episodes, but this is really funny. These crenellations are... You can actually shoot on the smaller part, but the larger part here, where you have to take cover, these parts are actually too small now. That's funny. And this is so stupid. Why does this bridge exist? It leads to nothing. Okay, there's a bigger zombie dude. But like... Why? Maybe they have intended to be there for here to be a entrance of some sort, but they ditched it for some reason. I think it's better off without entrance, to be honest. So let's get into the annoying part. Because currently we had only like... We had these wraiths with the bell that could ring the bell. Then a lot of zombie dudes over here. We had depraved perfumers or whatever they're called. Basilisks. And plants, right? Now there's also a riding wraith or whatever they're gonna call, you want to call them. These wraiths on wraith horses, I guess. And on top of that, I think this swamp is slowing you now. And for some reason they decided it's a good idea to put graves inside of your castle instead of outside your castle. But is it just me that finds this silly? Why would you bury your dead inside of your castle instead of outside of your castle? But okay, 3 more buildings. Always nice to see some buildings, and annoying swamp that slows you down. Great. Where this dude is ringing its bell and running away from you. This is not the... This is just an annoying area. Let's have a look at these revenants. Oh, this one has glowing eyes, great. They have... like... 2 pairs of arms, I guess? If I'm seeing this correct. Yeah, 2 legs and like 4 arms. Quite creepy. Are these grafted on, or is it just the design of a vengeful spirit of some sort? Yeah, no, okay. I have 2 sets of arms, yeah, good. Yeah, not much to talk about this part. Let's get up this wooden piece here to get on this part of the wall. Ooh, there's a broken down tower. Interesting. Because here we have the same problem. No door. And this is the outer wall. Oh no, this is the inner wall. With the outer wall directly underneath. Then this is, I guess, yeah, one part of the gatehouse. The gate is right underneath here, where this strange bridge is. And I think, where's the... over here. Like, why? For what reason? I don't get it. I don't get this shortcut. Or maybe I do. But it actually doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter. I've never used this shortcut. This is why I think it's useless. Because I've never felt the need of a shortcut there. I never died up there. And I thought, oh, maybe I should get up there again. I don't know. And then here we have a puzzling piece of structure, because what is this for? For some reason we have a ladder leading up there, and you can't tell me that this ladder is here because this castle sunk. This is actually here all the time, instead of the staircase. Then over here I guess we have maybe a garden, or maybe it's just like... what is this? Yeah, we have a royal revenant here, and we have a look at this monstrosity later. It's quite loud. And is it just me, or did they like repurpose the... oh, maybe not. It sounds like the cleric beast from Bloodborne, but maybe with a different pitch. And while it's here, let's have a look at it. How many... like, holy shit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 per side. Is that correct? Looks correct. 1, 2, 3, only 4 here. Do they have 9? That's quite odd. Is this again a failed crafting? Okay, I don't know. They're quite annoying. Let's go away. But I don't know what this is for over here. Like, there's so much... oh. I've never seen this ladder before. First time I'm seeing this ladder, okay. Interesting. But this basically serves no purpose over here. Like, this whole part, why isn't there a staircase leading up here? Do you expect the royal person of this castle to climb up this ladder? I don't think so. Why aren't there more doors inside? Because here, I guess this is the official entrance to the... like, to the keep itself, or whatever you want to call it. I call it the keep. But, like, you have to climb up a ladder? The Royal Highness has to climb up a ladder? I don't believe it. Then again, creepy statues. Here we have potentially... okay, the Royal Revenant is quite loud. Let me get rid of them. I think he despawned. So... okay, we are now in here. We climbed up a ladder. The Royal Highness had to climb up one ladder so far. And then we have this nothingness. Like, just a bunch of statues. These wooden thingies up there, which are, in my opinion, things that you would put in rocks and boulders, and logs to release them when the enemy is here, right? The enemy comes here, somehow you destroy this part from the inside, whatever, I don't know. So they crash down onto the enemy. They don't look like sniper nests or whatever you want to call it. They don't look like a structure where a person can stand in to shoot the enemy. Like, no. Yeah, nothing here. And then again, the second ladder, for some reason. I guess it's easier to put a ladder here than building a complete internal structure of this whole building. But it would make more sense, right? Because where are we right now? We are right now at this part here, facing nothing. I think they've missed the opportunity to put down a beautiful garden down there, I think. Then we have some interior over here with more ambushes. Bookshelves over bookshelves, more ambushes. Interesting that they all have triggers. And then again, a ladder leading up. No second story, no third story, no nothing. And then this is quite interesting. They've repurposed this like portable shield platform as a cover for this hole over here, which is quite nice. They've repurposed an asset. Then again, this weird structure over here. I don't even know why you would have this structure in general, because this is way too high. You can't shoot down there. I mean, yeah, okay, I get it. They don't want to build like custom assets for one specific area, but come on. At least put the small... No, maybe not the small thingies. I don't know. You need custom assets for a design like this, in my opinion. But this would take so much more time to build. And resources, like money and time, to build all of this correctly. So I guess it makes sense that I've designed it this way. Because if you just imagine these structures in a way that they would make sense with a similar layout, then it would take like enormous time to build these custom assets, and I guess they don't have the time and the resources for that. Let's just imagine it's not only the shaded castles, every single what's it called here, like fort and whatnot, that would need custom assets, like custom structures, and that would be too much to ask for, in my opinion. But it doesn't hinder me from criticizing it. So missing door over here, clean road night dog over here. Then this is something that I really quite like. We have... Okay, can you stop walking now? The walking was annoying. So this is something that I really quite like, because we have one part over here where you have to get into the castle thingy over here. So you have to come from this side, then you walk over a bridge that is right here. It goes very deep down. It's not the castle anymore. So you have to walk over a bridge to get into the next part over here. And then I guess again you have to get over to this main part. This is the main keep over here. I really like this design, or the idea of it adds complexity, right? Because the layout itself looks fairly simple. You have a square, and then you have to let's just imagine this castle was a whole castle. You have to go through here, you have to go through here, then through a gate over here, go up here, over a ladder, entrance over here, like, then you have to go over a bridge, go over here, climb up here, and then you can finally get into the to the boss of this castle, to the owner, the royalty, whatever lives here, right? And what structure is this we are going in right now? This is just another tower piece, but sadly no. At least we have a second story here. Yeah. But again, sadly no way of getting to the top. Another clean road now, and this part over here is quite tricky. We are currently at this position here. We just went through this red roofed building over here. Can you stop walking, please? Okay. Then I think, yeah, right down there is the Royal Revenant spawn point. A lot of statues. And with a lot, I mean a lot of statues. And this is something that I quite like. I like these wooden bridges between two towers. These look quite nice. Or at least, or not at least, or something like this where they have a wooden roof, wooden roofing and wooden walls with a stone bridge. This looks quite good, I think. Then over here, maybe I've seen this. From up here it looks familiar, from down there it didn't. But yeah, it looks quite nice with all these statues, quite creepy also. And now they have an elevator. If you know me, if you've seen the other videos, I don't like these elevators because they make no sense. And like, who is spinning these wheels and why? This is something that I don't like. They've shown, I think on the same height, a link between this tower we are in right now and this tower. There was a wooden bridge across these two at the same height, I think, at this height. Why isn't there a door here? How am I supposed to get onto that other part of the wall? But again, to the elevator, these elevators make no sense. Because this pressure plate isn't doing anything. Like, yeah, it goes down and then what? How? It's clearly a mechanism. It's not magic. If it's magic, it would make more sense. Magic makes more sense than this specific elevator design right here, because no one is occupying it. You can't just step on a pressure plate like this that is connected to nothing to let this elevator work. Like, it's not how it works. Like, then we have this nice little structure to the boss itself, and I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, the boss isn't disappointing. The boss is quite fun. And the room, holy shit, the room looks amazing. Right? But this boss is basically just the bell-bearing hunter. It's not even the strongest version of the bell-bearing hunter, because the bell-bearing hunter appears at... I can't open the map because I'm in, quote-unquote, in a boss arena. But let's just say it's not even the strongest version of this enemy. It's quite the fun enemy though, at least this version, because it's not extremely strong. Good. So now I can finally open the map again. Here. The bell-bearing hunter appears at different locations. One, for example, is at the shack where you can buy the stuff from Bernal that is standing right somewhere over here. Then there is, and they only appear at night, one at the church of something, this church part over here. Then one in Landell, right over at this spot. And of course in the Shaded Castle there's this boss. And then there's the strongest version right at this position here, even stronger than the boss itself over here. And I think they can the boss can like 2 or 3, 4 hit like a 150 character, depending on what armor they're wearing. Like, they deal a lot of damage and they have a lot of health. But this looks quite nice. Don't mind the church. What's it called? Bank? No. What's it called? The shit you can sit on. This thing right here. Bench? Bench? Church? Benches? Bench, right. Yeah. Don't mind them. But you have basically a feasting hall over here. Nice little fireplace over there, I guess. Painting of Melania. And I guess a lot of prostheses for Melania. Like, these are her legs and arms. A few clean rod armor sets. But the disappointing part for me is that there's no second, no third indicator of a story. Like, no story indication. Because this is such a high building. But did we went through it? No. We did not. It's just a big building just for one big room. But they could have easily put more rooms underneath here. Maybe put a staircase somewhere. I don't know, maybe like in a corner, like this corner, for example. Make a staircase that goes down here into the underground. Maybe it's just destroyed because the player shouldn't go there, but you know what I mean, right? But in and out of itself, it looks nice. So I think we're through the Shaded Castle. And it's time to rate this place. And oh boy, I really like this one. I personally don't like playing through it, but I really like the design of it. Minus the swamp part. I never like swamp parts. Who the fuck likes swamp parts? Except Miyazaki himself. Like, do you enjoy playing through them? Maybe you do. I don't. A lot of people don't like it, but I guess, well, I mean, it looks like shit and it feels like shit and it's not fun, right? It looks like shit because it's literally green, brown, sluggish. I mean, it doesn't look good. It looks like a dirty pond, a very, very dirty pond, but oh well, let's rate this thing, right? Level design. Level design. The level layout design is pretty nice. I really like the layout. You have 2 entrances. You first explore the outer part, then you explore the inner part, and then you can climb around inside the keep itself or inside this bag over here. A bit disappointing that there isn't more to discover at this point. I feel like once you've done all of this down here, the lower part, you've done like 80% of the castle itself. There's not much going on up here, which is a bit disappointing, but it's fine, I guess. It's not that super long legacy dungeon, so I guess it's okay. So for the what did I call it? Layout design, I would give a 9. But the poison swarm thingy, I would like have to subtract 1 point. Like, let's give it an 8. Enemy placement. We have some variety here. We have how many different enemies we have? We have zombies on the walls. We have the perfumers, depraved perfumers. 2 enemies, 2 types of plants, so 4 enemies or 3.5 enemies. We have slugs, we have wraiths, we have revenants. Oh, one revenant, I don't know. Are they called wraith or revenant? I think the wraiths. The bell dudes, right? What else do we have? Clean rod knights, dogs. That's quite a lot. Like, that's quite a lot of variety, right? So, I think that's a positive thing, although I don't really enjoy the Revenant and Wraith dudes that much, and the zombies are kinda boring, but the Clean Rod Knights are a challenge, sometimes. Depends on what level you're going in here. So, that's quite nice. I would also give it a 8, I think. So, level design, 8 points. 8 out of 10. Now the world design. Again, we have the same problem with towers being inaccessible, then crenellation's not really working, missing doors, all of that shit. The layout itself is quite nice. It's stupid that you have ladders leading up to the main entrance over here. You remember the gate thingy with the ladder leading to it? Which is silly. You wouldn't want your king or queen climbing up a ladder like this, right? You wouldn't want, you want a staircase for that. But there is no staircase, so... there's a lot of missing stuff here. But it's not as infuriating. Oh, it's not really infuriating, that's what I want to say. It's like, there's some designs like... what was it? What was the worst one so far? I don't know what the worst one was, but something like Fort Height is not good. Fort Height is not a good design. This thing I think was quite nice over here. Fort Life, whatever it's called. Yeah, the Guardian's Garrison was horrendous. But it doesn't matter. The Shaded Castle is quite good. Despite the missing parts. So I would give it a 7, I guess. So level design 8 points, world design 7 points. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the rating. Why is it pointing down the statue? So, let me know how you would rate this thing. Let me know what things you like about this castle itself. Do you like the poison swamp? Do you hate the poison swamp with a passion? Let me know down in the comments, and that's it from me. Goodbye.